The era of Trump is about to resume after a 4-year hiatus. And this time, after years of political prosecution by his opponents, the so-called Teflon Don is back. And this time he has a bone to pick. You see, in 2016, the mood of the country was shifting towards Trump's policies, but arguably in the case of, say, illegal immigration and his deportation plan, the country at large wasn't fully behind him. At least not enough in a way to allow him to push forward his mass deportation plan. But that appears to be over. As we covered in an episode yesterday here on this channel, the New York Times put out a poll that showed that 87% of Americans approve of deporting criminal aliens, meaning those who committed additional crimes after coming here, as obviously anyone who came here illegally is by their very definition a criminal for breaking and entering into the U.S. without permission. And even outside criminal aliens, the majority of the country now approves of mass deportation as well. The American people just want them all out of the country and sent back to wherever the hell they came from. Donald Trump now knows this, and in his rally yesterday he discussed his plan for mass deportation, promising to outdo President Dwight D. Eisenhower's mass deportation of 1.3 million illegal aliens, which occurred over just a matter of months back in 1954-1955.
Think of it. We've allowed millions and millions of people into our country through open borders, no checks, no vetting, no anything. Millions and millions of people. And lots of those people are murderers. 52% of them killed more than one person. And very soon we'll begin the largest deportation operation in American history, larger, even larger than President Dwight Eisenhower, who has the record right.
Now, this has not gone unnoticed by those residing unlawfully here in our country. And now reports are coming in, flooding in, if you will, indicating that some illegal aliens are beginning to self-deport ahead of President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration. For example, this is an article posted by the New York Post yesterday at January 19th, where they titled the article, "Worried Migrants Flee New York City Shelters as Trump ICE Raids Loom." Quote, "It is better to leave before." The New York Post article writer, it's Kevin Sheehan, Melanie Marich, and Jorge or George Fitzgibbon. They write, "They're getting out of Dodge. Migrants shacked up at Big Apple shelters are jittery over promised ICE raids on the eve of Donald Trump's inauguration Monday. And many are ditching their tax-funded digs to duck deportation. A Venezuelan migrant, Kervin Nava, said, 'It is better to leave before. I am making arrangements somewhere else.' One Manhattan migrant, who asked to be identified only as Raphael, said that the fear has gripped his shelter, and as it should. It is in God's hands, but there are people who have started leaving the hotels because they are scared," he told the Post. "When ICE came a few weeks ago, they had an arrest warrant for someone who lived here. Nothing they could do." Well, yeah, you're there illegally. Anyway, other migrants said that they were just angry at their suddenly dim prospects. Trump has long promised mass deportations of illegal aliens in the U.S. and has designated Tom Homan, his new tough-as-nails border czar, to start making it happen as soon as he's in office. Homan, who has identified immigration asylum cities like Chicago and New York as the first priorities, told Fox News Sunday that he is, quote, "reconsidering when and how to pull the trigger after some details of the planned raids were leaked in the press over the past week." He said, "It is going to be a big raid all across the country. Chicago is just one of many places. We've got 24 ICE field offices across the country. On Tuesday, ICE is finally going to go out and do their job. We're going to take the handcuffs off ICE and let them go arrest criminal aliens. That is going to happen." Now, the Post goes on to write, "Delayed or not, Homan assured the raids are coming, and it has migrants shaking in their boots. Some people think they will come in buses and load people up from the shelters and take them to the airport," said one migrant. A Colombian national also said he's been waiting 1 year at the Roosevelt Hotel in Midtown waiting for a work permit and now is concerned it may never come. "The idea of raids at the hotel that worries me," he said. "We worked hard to keep up with the news every day, but hearing about raids worries me. I have my wife and 2 kids here. I try to keep my head down and get work done, but if something like a raid happens, I need it to protect my family." Raphael, a 35-year-old Venezuelan national, said he doesn't believe that Trump will kick illegal immigrants out who are willing to work and make their own way out of the country. I think he's in for a rude awakening. He said Trump won't send people back who are here to work and make an honest living. Only the people who are causing problems or relying on the government. Except those that come here illegally are, by definition, criminals. And they all gotta go, and that's what Trump is planning to do. At least that's what he's saying publicly. Anyway, others like Frances, a 44-year-old Venezuelan mom, are leaving everything to fate, saying everything is in God's hands. I just have to trust them. And it's not just places like New York, my friends. This is happening all over the country. For example, thousands of Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, are reportedly fleeing to sanctuary cities like Chicago and New York City. Some are even leaving the United States entirely, heading to places like Canada or Brazil. They are moving fast to get out of Dodge, as the temporary protected status that the Biden administration gave them will be terminated by Trump, who pledged to get rid of it once inaugurated. And then there's places like in Florida, where the Florida sheriff is encouraging people to self-deport. For example, in Polk County, Sheriff Grady Judd in Florida publicly encouraged illegal aliens to self-deport, stating, "Southbound and down, do it yourself. You can self-deport and avoid a lot of prison sentence. But it's time." The sheriff, Judd, made these comments during a press conference with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis discussing actions to combat illegal immigration. And so on and on it goes. The mere threat of mass deportations has changed the dynamics for many illegal aliens in the United States. For example, as reported by the Daily Signal, they wrote that while many immigrants have indicated that they would flee to sanctuary cities where officials refuse to deport illegal immigrants, Holman has warned that even these cities will be subject to mass deportations. Daddy's in charge. A coalition of Democrat governors and mayors have already announced that they plan to resist Trump's deportation program. Among them is Denver Mayor Mike Johnston, who posited that he would use city law enforcement officers and 50,000 residents to block deportation efforts in what he called a Tiananmen Square moment. He, of course, later retracted his comments about using police to oppose federal officials because he did not encourage citizens to protest deportation efforts, and said that he was not afraid of going to prison, which, of course, in response, Holman said that Johnston would be absolutely breaking the law and said, "Me and the Denver mayor, we agree on one thing. He's willing to go to jail, and I'm willing to put him in jail. If he doesn't want to help, that's fine. He can get the hell out of the way, but we're going to do the job. President Trump has a mandate from the American people. We've got to secure this country. We've got to save American lives." And the Daily Signal goes on to write, according to a CBS News YouGov survey, 73% of American adults say that deporting illegal immigrants should be a priority for Trump's administration, including 45% of Americans who say it should be a high priority. Additionally, nearly 60% of respondents said that they want Trump to initiate a national program to find and deport all immigrants who are in the U.S. illegally, which should come as a no duh. We never should have even gotten here in the first place. But I digress. Anyway, they say a majority, 64%, also favor Trump mobilizing federal law enforcement agencies that don't typically interact with immigration in order to assist with deportations. So shock and awe by the Trump administration, I believe, is about to begin here. It appears that Donald Trump is going to follow through on his campaign promises, which means that, buckle up, my friends, it's about to get crazy out here.